Welcome back, everyone. J-Bone here for Smash This Podcast. Just doing a late night vid. In fact, well, if you know my channel, you know most of my vids lately are late at night. Day's done, brain processes stuff better. It is what it is. This little discussion that I'm doing on here tonight is going to be concerning me canceling FloSlam. Combination of things. And also to go along with that, the future of Evolve Wrestling, which was a big thing on FloSlam, probably their biggest name, in my opinion. And the future of one of my favorites that just left Evolve Wrestling, and what I would consider to be one of the hottest free agents out there is All Ego Ethan Page. But let's talk about FloSlam in general first. If you know my channel, you know one of the things I was reviewing here and there, it was sporadic, I'll admit that. I wanted to review more stuff, but life gets in the way sometimes. You plan on reviewing this, that, and the other thing, and it just sometimes just doesn't work. And it's not like I review absolutely everything I watch. Some stuff I just watch for the sake of enjoying professional wrestling, and it's just one of those things where, I don't have to tell the world about every single thing that I watch. So, whatever. Is some of it I did want to talk about, and some of it I just had fun watching it. I started, it was approximately, I had FloSlam for about a year. It was pretty close to a year. And I know some people were complaining about the price because the price went up at some point to like 30 or 35 a month. I got it when it was 20 a month, so I never paid any more than that. And part of me really wanted to do the whole $150 per year thing. But now it looks like and I'm not going to get into all the details of this lawsuit that's going on between FloSlam and WWN. I will, it's late at night. So I will try to remember there's a couple links I was reading off of to get some information of, and I'm going to sum up some of it here and there. If you want more detailed, you can go to these links that I'm going to put in the description of this video. You can read up more on it. If I just repeat it all, it's going to take me all night, especially for the time of the night that it is. So I'm not going to do that. You can do that yourself if you want to learn more about this lawsuit, the details of what's happening and all that. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about this for a bit. I did enjoy FloSlam while I had it. Evolve was pretty much like the buying point for me because I started watching a couple events, and that sold me. The talent in Evolve right now, in my opinion, across all the different platforms of talent that I watch between WWE, Impact Wrestling, Lucha Underground, and then I watch a couple others sporadically or binge watch. Like I'll watch like a month's worth of Ring of Honor or NXT. Between like everything that I watched, honestly, honest to goodness, as far as the wrestling, they weren't big on like production or promos unless it was a manager doing them. But the wrestling was just insane. And I knew it was a training ground in a sense, kind of like a backdoor in a sense for, to get to the WWE. Look at all the guys that came in from the Cruiserweight Classic that are in NXT now, 205 Live, and, and so on. but there was so much more that when I started watching Evolve that I enjoyed. Keith Lee, when Keith Lee jumped from Ring of Honor in his tag team, and forgive me, I can't remember the name of the tag team he was in with Shane something, that other really big guy. When Keith Lee jumped to Evolve, I was like, who is this guy? And then, I remembered who it was. And then he had that first match with Chris Hero. And this was at the same time that Chris Hero was leaving the Indies, going back to the WWE and joining up in NXT. And over the course of the next few months, between late fall, Christmas time, leading up to, say, Mania season, springtime, Keith Lee quickly became one of my favorite guys to watch because he could wrestle big guys like Chris Hero. And that match is very memorable because it's one of Chris Hero's last matches, and it's a train wreck of a match because they literally destroyed the ring. Like, all the ropes at one point were like either falling off or had fallen off, and these guys really could have hurt themselves bad, and they did what they could with it. They beat the crap out of each other, and they made the best of it. And that was one of my first experiences watching Evolve Wrestling. So he could wrestle big guys like Chris Hero. Chris Hero ain't nothing to with, he could also put on matches with who trying to think of some of the few names. Oh, Rick. He had a match with Ricochet. He also had a match with Leo Rush. I mean, from bigger guys all the way down to like the smallest of cruiserweights like Leo Rush, still insanely talented, but not even a third of his size. Keith Lee could put on matches, 5-star matches with all these different guys. It became one of my favorites to watch in the independents and Evolve. There was talking about them like they're dead. They're not dead, folks. I'm just, I'm not watching it anymore, so it makes me sad. Matt Riddle, very entertaining, bruh. The life of bruh. Tag team wrestling was decent in Evolve with Catch Point and a few of the other newer ones that were popping up in there. And some of the faces that had left Ring of Honor before they did the jump to WWE, they spent some time in the Indies. They wanted like a 90-day period, 3-month period or whatever before they went. So it wasn't like a stole talent. A lot of these faces showed up in Evolve, and did a couple dates, couple weekends. Kyle O'Reilly showed up for a few dates. Timothy Thatcher, so many different names were eye-catching for Evolve. And I dare say my favorite on the Evolve roster, who I was really hoping would become champ because his build-up over the course of several months, and even long before I was watching, Ethan Page. His promos, his in-ring skills kind of reminded me of like a Kevin Owens type wrestler, just well-rounded, great on the mic, great in the ring, and I mean that as the utmost compliment. I know some people don't like Kevin Owens, but not every wrestler is everyone's cup of tea. I love Owens. So yeah, Evolve is just one of the many shows I did like watching on FloSlam. And I'm not going to remember them all, so I quick pop this up on my screen here. Lucha Forever. Lucha Forever, the short-lived promotion. I shouldn't say this. Is, like I said, I'm talking about these like they're dead. They're not dead, folks. They're just not on FloSlam. There's nothing on FloSlam right now. Lucha Forever is Will Ospreay's company. Small company that they floats around the UK, with a lot of great talent, a lot of comedic wrestling matches involving the crowd and everything. And well, your UK European crowds are very vocal, so there's a lot of fun to be had at these shows. And Lucha Forever is certainly one of them. So I enjoyed that while it was on there. Short-lived, unfortunately. House of Hardcore, another great, well-rounded show. It debuted on FloSlam from last year's Blizzard Brawl from Milwaukee, and just got announced that Tommy Dreamer's Blizzard Brawl is coming back to Milwaukee. And House of Hardcore. Excuse me. It's David Hero's production. His Great Lakes Championship Wrestling combined with Tommy Dreamer's company coming to town. So it'll be a combination of local greats like one Austin Aries is coming to town, Milwaukee known, along with former WWE diva Candice LeRae is coming to town. But not enough about that. I'm just saying it was another one of my favorite things to watch on FloSlam, and they had a handful of shows on there, and all of a sudden weren't on there anymore. What else? Style Battle. Style Battle was something completely new that I was unfamiliar with, and watched a handful of their shows, and was interesting because they always pitted different kind of wrestling styles together against each other. And at the end of 10 shows, those top 10 winners then were supposed to, they didn't even get to the end of the 10 shows. They were supposed to wrestle for the Style Battle, their big Style Battle at the end of the season championship. I watched like 5 or 6 of them, and that's as many as they had, I think. One of my favorites to watch out of there was Anthony Henry. He was in several of them and finally won one of the last ones that was on there. What else? I watched a couple others. WrestleMania season was crazy. They had some late night shows on there. Joey Janela's Game Changer Wrestling, I think it was called. Joey Janela's Spring Break, whatever it was called. It was that was a lot of craziness. So many. I know I'm forgetting a lot of them. Oh, the weekend was called More Than Mania, all surrounding WrestleMania stuff. So I'm just saying. Oh, and then towards the end, I was also getting into stuff like with the women's on there. It was Shine or Shimmer. I always confuse those two. But I watched a couple of those shows on there, and it's just a bummer because they had such a good variety of stuff on there, and then ended up one by one they were just dropping like flies. And then now this lawsuit, and like I said, I will put, when I'm done with this video, I will put the links in the description. You can go check them out as far as this lawsuit between FloSlam and WWN. And I'm not going to slam I'm not gonna slam FloSlam for this. I'm not gonna, I don't know who to blame for this. Obviously some numbers were wrong somewhere. And there's a reason why there is absolutely nothing on FloSlam anymore. There's no events. There's no content at all. And it's a shame. So, but before all this came out, a couple weeks prior, I had decided to cancel FloSlam, but I was still planning on watching the last two Evolve events. It was 92 and 93 or 91, 92, whatever it was a few weeks ago. Well, one of them aired, and then they didn't air the second one because of this lawsuit that came out. But I still had it technically up until yesterday. Well, then they pulled all their content. They pulled all the Evolve New, the Classic. They pulled all the Dragon Gate USA. They pulled House of Hardcores. They pulled every single video off of their website. You can't, there's nothing there now. It's crazy. Because a lot of these are in litigation, I guess, whatever. WWN owns most of them. Not all of them, but a good chunk of them. So FloSlam just pulled like all their content. And I was upset about that because I at least wanted to watch, like I said, the last two Evolve shows. So I wrote them an email and said, hey, I hope to hear back from you guys. I would like a refund for this past month from September leading into October. Because you guys pulled all your content. I didn't even have a chance to watch the last Evolve show that you were going to put on there because you never even put it on there. And, I kept it clean. I kept it nice, kept it professional. And I said, I hope to hear back from you guys soon. Within a day, they got back to me and said our quality, our customer quality team, whatever it was, we'll get back to you very soon on this matter. Within a day of that, they said, we completely understand why you want your refund back. We do not have a problem sending it to you. It will take up to 5 business days. Well, I can tell you today, my $20 from this past month went back in my bank account. So I have no qualms about, FloSlam ripped me off. The only thing I could say that ripped me off was, I really wanted to watch the last Evolve shows because I heard they were good. I read reviews on them. And, so, and it's also not in my budget to go watch it for $20 on WWN or whatever, even though they had some kind of deal for former FloSlam subscribers. I didn't read all of it, but nonetheless, it was nice while it lasted. I don't understand all the details of this silly little lawsuit dealing with numbers. And another thing I want to get into is, the future of Evolve. Now, Evolve, like I said, their last show didn't even end up on FloSlam. They put it back on the WWN website. So I'm pretty sure you can order it on there if you want to watch it. I'll watch it eventually sometime. But now with this lawsuit going on, and then there was a leaked email. And like I said, I'm not going to read the whole email, but it's an email from Gabe Sapolsky, who runs Evolve, and something about a transitional period. It's an email that's supposed to be to all the talent, and how it got leaked, I don't know. But it's one of those, it's kind of like one of those things that leaks when you hear about, notes for Monday Night Raw were leaked and you can read them below. And then you look through and everything is broken down segment by segment. And then, and we can't remember, folks, we can't do this and we can't do that. And it's one of those kind of emails, sort of. But what's interesting is talking about this transitional period that Evolve is going to be going through. It also has to do with a phone call that Gabe had with someone talking about how and I'm paraphrasing here. I don't quote me on it, but it's something to the effect of he doesn't want to be involved in the indies in professional wrestling anymore because he has his dream job now with NXT. which destroying kayfabe. Yes, he has been working recently on NXT shows with Trips. So if you like what you're watching on there, that's one of the reasons. So he was running Evolve. He had the job with NXT, and maybe it's just too much for him, and he wants to get out of it, or just I don't know. I don't know all the reasons behind it. I did hear about some speculation. Now don't quote me on this. I'm not feeding you this as, oh, I'm making this up and this is all BS, like Sean's view or something. But there is some speculation that Evolve might possibly end up on the network, which I would be ecstatic for, because like I said, I'm very fond of all the talent in Evolve, and to see them evolve and then possibly end up in the WWE on NXT, or being so good just jump to the main roster and shake things up. I'm always about the shake up. Dang it, soda's empty. So yeah, I'm looking forward to see what the future of Evolve is. One other thing that also is very interesting about Evolve is if you go to their YouTube channel, they just put a video up, and all these are done by Kenny Johnson. Props to Kenny Johnson. The guy puts video packages together for Evolve that are as good, if not better, than the stuff you see on WWE programming. I hope if all this, comes to fruition and Evolve becomes part of the WWE, I hope Kenny Johnson ends up having a job with the WWE. He deserves it. He's that good. He has his own YouTube channel. And then from the documentaries he was doing on indie guys like Sami Callihan, Johnny Gargano, you can go look them up. They're a lot of fun to watch. They're kind of like day in the life videos, kind of like that. A lot of fun. I hope he honestly gets picked up by the WWE as a production guy, editor or whatever, because he's that good. What else? Oh, that I was going to talk a little bit about Page in particular, Ethan Page, because he he also does these day in the life videos, similar to how when Kevin Owens was on the Indies, when he was Kevin Steen, he had the Kevin Steen YouTube channel, and it kind of similar to what the Young Bucks are doing now, with being the elite minus all the comedy skits. It's more just, hey, this is behind the scenes of what I did in this town at this show and blah, 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 blah. But now, seeing as Page quit Evolve right before all this came to fruition over the course of the last few weeks, he put out a video. You gotta go to All Ego Ethan Page. Go to his YouTube channel and go check this out. It's worth searching for. It's on his social media too. You can look it up on Twitter and whatever. He put together this video of how he's sitting down with all these different contracts in front of him from different indies all the way up to big names like Impact and WWE and NXT. And he's going through them and trying to decide who to sign with. And then he lists all these indie dates that he's got coming up. And one interesting thing is what has not come out yet is why he quit Evolve. And it's upsetting for me because he was my favorite part of Evolve, even though I can't watch it anymore because I don't have FloSlam, and I can't afford $20 a show on WWN, but they're also, what I've heard is they are also looking into other video streaming services. So who knows what the future will bring for that. But my point for Page is, you know, I personally think he is good enough to go sign with some big name. I would like to see, you know, you hope a lot of these guys do end up in the WWE, but I do think he's good enough that he could, you know, either end up in NXT in their, you know, developmental, or I wouldn't mind seeing, you know, the roster grow on Impact Wrestling. You know, they're doing all these talent swaps with companies, you know, between Japan and AAA. I'm loving the AAA storyline because most of those guys are in Lucha Underground, which if you watch my channel on a regular basis, you know, I do reviews for them. You know, Mundo's, Johnny Impact. Get in trouble for the name. You know, Tejano's on there, Phantasma. So yeah, you know, they're doing good. You know, is it the best thing out there? No, but a lot of my favorites are on there right now. So for me, it's the one thing that I'm probably the most excited about as far as wrestling on TV, and Mundo is one of my favorites. So I would love to see All Ego, Ethan Page in the Impact Zone. I think he'd be a perfect fit. You know, and I'm not going to list all the different feuds he could have on there, but I just think he'd be a good fit on there. But also NXT, you know, either one, I think he's good enough for it. So what is going to be the end game for all this? We'll see. You know, is he just does he? Well, if you look at the contracts, they're pretty funny because he's posted some pictures of them and they are pretty funny. They're not real contracts, and I could just picture him, you know, commenting on this or, you know, arguing with me. Of course they're real. Damn it. You know. No, but if you have a chance to look at one of the contracts, he took a picture of it's the Impact one. And just like the last line on there, it's like you will have an action figure out before your debut or something to that effect. It's like, okay, that's not real. That's of course it's real. No, it's not real. But it's funny nonetheless, you know, and you know, I don't know if he does have those options. Of course, he's not going to post those kind of contracts publicly. I'd be shocked if he did. But yeah, just wanted to give my quick thoughts on him. This whole, I'll call it the end of FloSlam because there, like I said, there was zero content on there. If you go to the website, FloSlam.tv, whatever, the only thing that's on there is WWE content. As far as results, there's a podcast on there which I never watched. So I'm not gonna say it's a good or bad podcast. I just never watched the FloSlam podcast, but they covered all sorts of stuff. But there's no upcoming events, and they pulled all their wrestling video content. So there's articles and a podcast on there right now. So I don't know, you could say rest in peace, FloSlam. It was fun while it lasted. I had it for about a year. I enjoyed a lot of the stuff on there. It's going to be very interesting to see the future of Evolve. They put, I don't know if I mentioned this, I was talking about Ethan Page. They put a video on there called The End on their YouTube channel. And it says the end is coming 10/14, which is a week away. So next weekend, they've got what looks to be possibly their final 2 shows. I could be wrong. Like, this could be just a transitional period. I don't know if this is actually the end of Evolve. If Gabe is calling it quits, I don't know. It's all guessing right now. So I'm not going to sit there and tell you, oh yeah, the company's done. I don't know. But whatever does happen with Evolve, I'm going to be keeping a close eye on it, because I really want to know what's going to happen with all these guys. I want to know what's going on. Well, Paige is not with them anymore, but what's going to happen with Riddle? He's the WWN champ. Zack Sabre Jr. is, well, I think he's still Evolve champ. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure he still is. Keith Lee, another one of my favorites on there. So much good talent. Darby freaking Allin is, how would you describe him? Obviously a smaller guy, cruiserweight. Some would say he's like a Mick Foley and just a daredevil and puts his body on the line. But the guy can wrestle. He's not just a stunt guy, and he's proven that with all sorts of different guys. At one of the last shows, he faced what the hell's his name? DJZ. DJZ, tremendous wrestler. And Darby Allin beat him in a great match. So, I mean, it proves the guy's got talent, but he's done some crazy, sick things. His feud with Paige is one of my favorite feuds over the course of this last year. To watch it evolve over the course of several months was absolutely, it's some of the most insane spots I've seen in wrestling. Most violent too, just sick stuff. What's going to happen to Darby Allin? He's he is one. I know a lot of people don't like 205 Live. I like 205 Live. That's another one of those I binge watch. I'll watch like 4 episodes in a row and catch up. Although I gotta say, it is a little more interesting now with Enzo on there. You could say it's more interesting or more annoying, but my point is, Darby Allin would turn 205 Live on its head if he was added to it. Just gonna say that. So yeah, like I said, I'll be following this very closely to see what's going on with Evolve in the next next week. I'm sure we'll find out the future of Evolve and what the future is going to hold for a lot of these guys. Are they going to become just, because I think some of them are under contract in Evolve or a WWN contract, but I'm sure some of them are just going show by show, depending on, guys like Kyle O'Reilly was in for a couple of shows and then he went on to the WWE. So he didn't sign like a year contract or something like that. But yeah. So that's it for this one. A lot of little different nuggets of things I was talking about, but I've been sitting on this for a while. Just wanted to get it out of my head. So, and I will, like I said, I will try to remember to put those links in the description so you can see exactly, follow up more on what I was talking about in this video in greater detail. The details of the lawsuit, the alleged email from Gabe Sapolsky is going to be in these articles that I will post in the description. I know Gabe's not too happy about that being out there, and I'm not sharing it to hate on him. I'm just, it's news. So I just wanted to talk about it because it was one of the things I, did enjoy watching and reviewed stuff on here. So, and give me your thoughts, if you, if you didn't watch FloSlam, you're really not going to have an opinion on it. But if you were a FloSlam subscriber like me, for as long as it was around, let me know your thoughts on it. Did you enjoy the stuff? Are you upset about it going away, going bye-bye or whatever? Or give me your opinion on the future of some of these guys in Evolve or the company itself. What do you think Gabe's going to do? So leave it in the comments below if you have an opinion on it. I'd love to discuss it with you or just hear your thoughts. So ring that bell for notifications, give it a like, give it a sub, share it with your family and your neighbor's dog. And maybe not that. It's late, whatever. We'll see you soon for the next one. I'm probably going to do my Impact review tomorrow sometime. Also, pay-per-view predictions will be on the Ramblin' About Wrestling podcast, that other show I do with the Ramblers, tomorrow night, 8. I think we're shooting for 8. Friday night at 8. Because that's what everyone wants to do, is watch Rambling About Wrestling at 8 o'clock on a Friday night. Don't you? Of course you do. Because I'm there and the other guys are there and you'll love it. You will, I promise you. Chaos will ensue. I'm sure of it. So that's it for this. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you down the road real soon for the next one.